So as we move to other technology that could take over large sectors of things we do every day, we drive cars. And so now GM has like ended one of their cars. I think they have a couple of driverless car models. This one is the one without a steering wheel. Basically, you could sit around it, and talk in the middle, have a campfire in the middle of it and drive it around. I think that's the car they're not going to have anymore. But they're going to still pursue the cruise. And so this self-driving car brings up debate. Do we really need self-driving cars? And today, self-driving cars, I think from Waymo, got released in San Francisco, full availability. So now if you're in San Francisco, LA, or Phoenix, you can get a self-driving car. So I'm going to mention a couple of movies here, iRobot being one of them. Yeah. So the second one, if you haven't seen it, it's called Upgrade. It's a low, very well done thriller movie. But the AI takes over the driverless cars, leads this guy to a field in order to kill him or maim him so that he could upgrade his body with AI hardware. So go watch it. It's a really great movie. Really great movie. It is a really great movie about AI and like driverless cars and biometrics and upgrading people. So they made him crippled so that he could be a test candidate for this. But he used a car to do it. So do we think driverless cars are a thing? Would you get in one if you were in Phoenix, LA? Are you scared of them, or do you think it's just never really going to work good?
So I don't know if you know this about me, but I have two fears in my life. One of them is needles. Like, I am deathly afraid of needles. I have an autoimmune disease where I have to get a shot every 2 weeks. So yay me. The second is driving. Like, I am
just driving,
period. Okay. I was in 7 car accidents before the time I turned 20. And I am terrified. Like, I mean, I still drive every day, but I am terrified behind the wheel when I'm behind the wheel. When my husband is behind the wheel, like, I usually have to close my eyes like the entire time because like I am so stressed out about him driving. I could not handle a self-driving car. I would flip right the heck out, and like I would never recover. Like, my anxiety would be through the roof. And I don't have anxiety except for when I'm in a car.
Okay, Kevin,
I would totally go in one. Yeah.
Oh!
Yeah, I would. I would in a heartbeat. Here's the thing. I would go in one for a very short trip. Like, I would try it. I'd be one of the, for the first time, I'd definitely try it. For sure. Just to see what it was like. I kind of like the idea. The fact that they cancelled this kind of car too, though, this one without like human controls, right?
Mm-hmm.
It kind of sucks, but I get it, right? Like, it'd be nice to have that because I guess you can fit a bunch of stuff in it, right? And it's like you can fit like 4-6 people in it or whatever, and a bunch of like luggage or whatever. It's great to go to the airport or something like that. That'd be great. But I'm guessing there's a whole bunch of regulations around like having a car like that doesn't have human controls in it, that literally isn't set yet, right? We're like, it's new law. I'm guessing that they'd have to try and like jump through and try and create to make those cars a thing on the road. So I get why they're not doing it, because somebody's got to pave the way at some point, but maybe they're like, maybe it's not us yet. Maybe we're not quite ready for that yet. I've always said all along that there is a period of like that is the most difficult time with self-driving cars, and it's the period of self-driving cars existing with human drivers. It's the most like dangerous like combination ever, mainly because of the human driver part. If all the cars were self-driving, I think we'd be fine. I think they could automate between each other, and it would be great. Throw a human in that mix, forget it. I've seen how humans drive.
All right, well, I got one article for you, Kevin. We got the Waymo article where the cop pulled the driverless car over for driving the wrong way on the road.
Yes, they make mistakes. They do.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. So the Waymo got pulled over, right? Driving the wrong way on the road.
Yeah.
How many times does that happen in a day in the US where humans are pulled over for driving the wrong way on the road? I'm guessing more. My guess is the percentage. I'm guessing that the AI car drives better than a human. On average.
Unless it has CrowdStrike in it, right?
Well, then it's just bricked, right?
I'm not going
which is
anywhere
why
today.
I guess technically I have no problem getting in one. Are they going to get into accidents? Yeah, they are. I mean, they just are. And then it comes down to, and they have done, right? There was one last year with a Waymo. The Waymo got their thing pulled, right? Originally, didn't they get their license pulled or whatever?
In San Francisco,
One of them did, right?
Mm-hmm.
In San Francisco, because it hit the lady up, right? So some car had hit a lady in a crosswalk or something, and the Waymo car then hit the lady after she'd been hit and dragged her down the road or something, right? So the only reason we know about that story is because it was a self-driving car. That accident's happened 100 times in the US this week, right? But with humans, but we haven't heard about it. It doesn't make the news, right? Because it's not a self-driving car. So is it going to have the same kind of accidents? Yeah, it is. That's just how it works. So we have this bar for self-driving that is perfection, right? And I think maybe we should have a perfection bar. I don't know, but the bar for human driving is like, have you taken a test recently? Like it's in the US especially. It's the easiest thing ever. It's like, oh, can you see that car in front of you? Do you know how the steering with steering? Yeah, check. Okay, here's your license. It's the easiest thing ever to get. It genuinely is. I was shocked when I first came here to know how easy it was to get a driver's license.
His permit test, like,
come on,
how, Sarah? How?
It must be harder in Utah than it is in North Carolina.
Is it? Is it easy?
You know it is. You know it's easy. It's one of the easiest things ever. But I guess it comes with experience too, right? It's like it is one of those things you need experience with. I understand that. But still, it is very simplistic. The bar is much lower, I feel, for humans to get a license than it is the bar that we've set for the AI. And then the other question that I have is, when the automated car runs somebody over and kills them, who's liable? Because if I do that, it's me. Right? I'm liable for it. Is Waymo liable? And if they are, they're not criminally liable, surely.
It's a corporate accident is what I would think it would be.
So then who
same way if a
who's
train
criminally
derails,
liable? The guy that wrote the code? The guy that owns the company?
No one is. The corporate can get fined civilly. I don't think there's a criminal charge unless you're
that's
grossly negligent.
Right. So lawyer Sarah here. But yeah, you have to be doing something like completely negligent or where you fail in such a way that any reasonable person would see that this would result in death, right? Like,
yeah, but it's not a person. So how can we apply those same rules to the
corporation is a person, yeah.
Right. So if the corporation is doing things like maybe they didn't do enough QA or something like that, or they're like, this is a lethal weapon and you didn't test this well enough in order to make it safe. Where is that? Like, but they would have to prove that it was a glitch in the software and not the girl darting across the road, not in a crosswalk or something like that.
It's going to be interesting, isn't it? Because somebody's going to test this. It's
I
going
think
to be tested.
Programmers in general have immunity from a lot of this stuff. You usually have errors and omissions and things like that. You should, if you do consulting work, but you also have to show like wantonly or knowingly, I did this for this particular purpose. Like you're allowed to make a mistake, even if it does cause death. The company would have to pay. I don't think you can get criminal for a coder rolling out something that caused someone to die, unless they knowingly did it. Now, if they programmed it to seek people out, that's a whole different
Well, I don't
case.
think that's the scenario. I'm saying, like, what if they forget? Yeah, what if they forget a particular scenario though, or something like it? Like it has to make a decision right at some point.
I would say the same thing for CrowdStrike. We can go back to the CrowdStrike story. Whoever rolled out the code, I mean, they're not going to have to be in debt for $1 billion for all the losses that everyone said. Now they may sue CrowdStrike and they may win on that, but I imagine there's a contract.
Yeah, but there's a difference between monetary losses and loss of life, surely. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because it kind of makes me think of too the Alec Baldwin Rust case, where he is, an actor who usually holds a gun and points it at people and pulls the trigger as part of his scene, right? So, in gun safety, you never point a gun at a person, but an actor is doing that all the time, right? So
they usually don't point it at other people. They usually point it at the camera, but like for some reason they
But
didn't.
sometimes, I mean, when you're looking at a shot where like there's two actors, like, and they're pointing guns at each other, like, there's, in the Matrix, she's got a gun to his head, right?
Right. Agreed.
Right.
I mean, so there's instances where they're literally pointing a gun at a person and they are expecting that that gun is not active, right? So
Yeah.
how is Alec Baldwin criminally liable for the gun shooting Elena Hutchins? Because like
He's not. They proved it.
well, they didn't
kind of. I mean,
it.
well,
They
don't forget they
didn't
took
prove
him. They took him to court because of it. So he got
No,
that
no, no.
far.
Civilly, yeah.
Well, oh, right. So the civil cases, but criminally, it was only dismissed because of the prosecutor's gross,
Right.
not incompetence, but like, I forget the word, but
They
anyway,
mishandled evidence.
The disclosures or whatever. Yeah.
yeah. But I mean, but it's kind of the same thing. If you have a reasonable expectation that the car is going to do what it is programmed to do, then are you criminally liable if somebody gets killed? I
don't think so at this point. I mean, at this point. Now, let me ask you another
Somebody
question.
will test it.
Yeah, someone will test it.
Yeah, let's go.
They will. Somebody will test it. We'll be watching this on court TV in like a year's time.
These
Oh, for
cars
sure.
will eventually kill someone. I mean, there's going to be an accident where
100%.
someone's
No
killed.
doubt.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let me ask you another question. Are you looking for the day to when you can like send your car while you're at the office out on DoorDash runs and you make a little side cash?
Yeah.
You rent your car out to DoorDash?
I'd like that.
Do you think that's going to be a thing? Like, do you think we're heading there?
Well, they're definitely not. I mean, their local restaurant isn't going to buy a fleet of cars.
No.
They're already using
Yeah.
DoorDash.
Well, right, but I mean, so if I send my car to pick up my Subway, like, is the restaurant just going to put it in the car? Like, what is their protocol on that? Like, what if I just send my car to Subway randomly, thinking that somebody else has probably placed an order and they're just going to put the order in my car instead? And I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know how you regulate that I'm like putting the order in with
QR
license
code,
plates or whatever.
I think.
Where are they scanning the QR code from, though? Like
your little window. You have a little window.
Are they
QR code on your
going
window.
into the car? I mean, I
can
can
imagine,
see it happening, but I'm like, logistically, that's kind of.
Let me rephrase it this way. Are you
scratcher.
looking forward to your car going to pick up the groceries so you don't have to go get them?
Yeah.
Yes, please. Yes, please. Can we just solve that problem today? Because I would love that.
I have my daughter for that. It's fine.
Yes, that would be amazing. I could see the solution where you're like, you send your car to pick up your Subway, it gets to the Subway, and they have some kind of a phone or something on mobile device, and you have a QR sticker on the car or something, or it gets some kind of location thing towards the car, and you get near the car, and it kind of unlocks the car or whatever.
Yeah,
just
GPS
like some of those apps
fencing.
do that now. Yeah, geofencing, whatever.
Yeah.
And then it unlocks it, you put it on the seat, and you close the door, and it drives back. I could see that being a thing.
That'd be awesome.
I think we have that technology already.
Bobby's like, now. I need one now.
I mean, I think we have that technology now. The self-driving cars could do that. The restaurants could adopt something like that. I think the technology part is there. I just don't think the idea or the infrastructure part is there yet, but I think it will be. I do. I think that'll be a thing. Now, whether it's like all of our cars doing it once they all have kind of a self-driving mechanism, I don't know. I could certainly see like these cruise cars doing it. If they're not like picking somebody up, like what could they do? They could DoorDash.
Yeah.
Would you get in a self-driven Uber? Like
that's coming.
If Uber converts their whole fleet to
That's what this Waymo is.
I think it's the same thing. Yeah, I would.
Oh,
Elon says, back in April, he said he's going to have his driverless cars out August 8th. Kevin told me this morning, well, he's pushed it back to October. So Tesla eventually will have a driverless taxi.
Vaporware. Or ever or never, because it's Elon. He just says things. He just says things. The dude just says things. He doesn't do anything. He's words. Until he actually does something, I don't believe a word the guy says anymore.
Is that website still up that we talked about a while ago?
I'm sure it is.
All the
exactly.
all the things Elon has said he'll.
There is a reason there is a website exactly of Elon promises that are unfulfilled. This is just another one of them. Add it to the list.